Manifest Your Truth. I haven't been on a YouTube live, in a while, and I thought the biggest topic, or one of the bigger topics to talk about today on a live, would be the government shutdown. President Donald Trump's administration and the government shutdown. And it's been going on for over 2 months now. And what should we recognize and see? What are the telltale signs from all of this? I know there is definitely a pilfering and a suffering going on for our middle class and lower income folks. And allegedly, Trump is fighting with the Democrats. They're saying that the Democrats are the ones who closed the government. So there's a lot of chess play going on with President Trump's administration on the red side versus the Democrats on the blue side. We're talking about Congress in particular. Um, and not only has the government been shut down for 2 months, as of November 1st, SNAP benefits have ended this past Saturday. And here again, another heavy burden on our middle class and lower middle class. And then the third piece is this big issue with the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare. And they're saying that now the co-payments are going to double and triple. Um, so, you got different levels of insurance, whether it's Medicaid, Medicare, if you're disabled or over 65. You have Obamacare, you have HMOs and PPOs, and then you have regular indemnity insurance. Those are the different levels. And the higher the level, indemnity, you can go almost to anybody. It covers a lot, prescription drugs, their co-payments with that. But they're saying this Obamacare, a lot of doctors don't even take Obamacare. And it comes out of the belly, its creation from the owners of Blue Cross Blue Shield. But they credit Barack Obama, the ex-president Barack Obama, with the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare. And so that's in trouble. As I said, the raising of co-payments. What do you all think? Hey, I got some people coming in. Hello, how you all doing? Good evening. And so it's a lot going on. So you got these increased co-payments in Obamacare. You got the government shutdown. You have SNAP benefits that have expired as of November 1st. I know the federal government is saying that they have some money set aside to help out and fund SNAP benefits, or at least people might get partial benefits in November. And we got to get into the numbers of how many people this is going to affect. And you have to remember, along with this SNAP benefits being shut down, remember, President Trump is trying to get his big, beautiful bill acted and in progress. And it was approved by Congress, where he's talking about cutting at least 20% of all people on Medicaid, kicking them off Medicaid. And what does that say? So normally you'll have a situation where Medicaid and SNAP, or food stamp benefits, go hand in hand for many people. So the Medicaid is their health coverage, and the SNAP benefits help provide food on the table. And President Trump is going after both of them. And for those who think that President Trump is some racist guy, and I have to defend him to a certain degree, I don't agree with the beautiful bill. I don't agree with the government shutdown. I don't agree with SNAP benefits expiring on November 1st. But this whole, I would say, panacea of gossip about Trump being a racist, if you look at these Medicaid cuts, these SNAP benefit expiration or cuts, this is affecting more white people than blacks or Hispanics. there are going to be more rural white folks that are going to have issues with this than your urban city black people and or Hispanics. So is this race baiting for Donald Trump? Some of these things that he's trying to get passed are affecting all people. I don't believe that Trump has a certain delineation towards just people of color. I think Trump. This is a situation where President Trump is on the side of the haves versus the have-nots. Um, so yeah, and like in Missouri, a statistic there's like 615,000. I'm doing my live out of St. Louis, Missouri. So in St. Louis, it's like 615,000 people that are receiving SNAP benefits, and those are not all urban city folks of color. And now with the government shutdown, you have issues at the airport. I mean, who wouldn't want to go fly right now when there's TSA shortages, people are not receiving their checks, air traffic controllers are not being paid, and we hope to God that that no planes fall out of the sky. There are tremendous airport delays and cancellations. They're talking about by Friday, there will be a 20% reduction in folks flying. So that's hurting the airline. So look at this trickle down effect that's taking place. Uh, Cutting 20% of folks off of Medicaid. What is that going to do for our hospitals that depend on those payments, for our urgent cares? Remember, there are certain building blocks that are foundational for a civilized society. We need healthy schools, healthy public safety, police force, fire department. We need healthy hospitals. You need healthy grocery stores. You need healthy churches and religious organizations and nonprofit organizations, all of banks. Just think about the things that you do and have to utilize on a regular basis, and you would like for it to be even close to you in your neighborhood. And this big, beautiful bill is going to serve havoc on hospitals, depending on those payments, urgent cares, depending on those payments, private physician offices that are depending on those payments. And this is going to have a serious effect. And I think it's going to lead to more people dying. I am against the big, beautiful bill, and we need more people talking about it. I am against the government shutdown and the SNAP benefits. Think about how many kids are going to go hungry. Um, and families that utilize and need those benefits. And there is a large misnomer for people that are on Medicaid and or receive some form of food stamps or SNAP benefits. They're not all unemployed and lazy people. It's based on an income ratio. So if you're a low income person, you still can get Medicaid and you still can get SNAP benefits. So it is something that helps our lower income individuals. So our lower income and our middle class take up the majority of the citizens in America. You got very few wealthy people, rich at the very top, but the bulk of our citizens that are working hard every day and trying to take care of their family are falling into the middle and low income area. And these issues, these signs that you're seeing right now, are putting a heavy burden on our middle class and our lower middle class folks. Uh, this big, beautiful bill that Trump has, I think, is a big, beautiful nightmare. The American dream is a fallacy and is disappearing like a cloud in the sky. Um, the days of working for one company for 30 or 40 years, those days are over. And receiving a pension. The climate of the world is changing. And now we got this issue with artificial intelligence. How is that going to be managed and handled? There are a lot of things that are going on that is suppressing and suffocating our middle class. You're talking about federal workers that are not being paid during this government shutdown. But guess what? Look at the hypocrisy and the dichotomy here. Congress, Congress folks, senators, politicians are all being paid. They're getting paid. And a Q&A sticker. Good sense of direction. Um, so look at the hypocrisy there. These are people that have been voted in to represent us as tax-paying citizens, your Congress folks, your senators. There's a government shutdown. The hardworking people of America can't get paid, but the politicians in D.C. and that represent your district are getting paid. If there's a shutdown, then there should be a complete shutdown. And trust and believe, while these Congress people are making $200,000 or $150,000 a year, senators, if their checks stop coming, do you think they're going to show up on Capitol Hill? So if the government is shut down, all of it needs to shut down. The president shouldn't even be getting his $400,000 or $500,000 salary. I have a real problem with these politicians that say one thing out of their mouth and then their actions speak a different word. I say all the time that love is an action and a verb. Anybody can tell you they love you, but the real key is, are they showing you that they love you? They have to show it and display it. And they're saying something like 22 million people are going to be affected by this SNAP expiration, the SNAP benefits being removed. I think you're also going to have a deleterious effect of more theft, more looting, more stealing out of stores. I think crime is going to go up. We're on the tip of the iceberg of being in a boiling point where this pot of boiling water may overflow beyond the pot, and this is going to be very disturbing. And you may see some civil unrest. We all already know in California, Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, certain Atlanta, that there's a lot of crime that's been going on. California has been decimated with looting, shoplifting, assaults, property damage. Corporate America is leaving Oakland, San Francisco. Chicago, downtown Chicago has a 50% commercial vacancy rate. So look at all these things. I know we live very busy lives and we have a lot going on, but we have to make our politicians accountable, our mayors, our state senators, our state Supreme Courts, our U.S. Supreme Court, our congressmen, our senators. There is a lot of mess going on. And it's also very interesting to see how we can send $60 billion to the Gaza Strip war. We can send $40 billion to Ukraine and the Russia war. $40 billion outside of the U.S. That's $100 billion. But we can't fund SNAP benefits or pay our government employees. Their salaries for all the government shutting down. We print money like it's nobody's business. During the pandemic, the whole country shut down for a year or two. People got checks. How in the world is the government shutting down? The government, the U.S. government, who is the person who are the people that print our currency. So we need to find some money somewhere. It's amazing how we can find money to do certain things like fund wars, but we don't have the money to feed our children. Also, you should know that there are like 41.7 million people receive SNAP benefits. 41.7 million as of 2024. Which is 12.3% of the U.S. population. So you're talking about almost 42 million people that rely on SNAP benefits. 42 million, that's quite a bit, 12% of our population. And you should know that the largest group of individuals that receive SNAP or racial makeup, is 35.4% are white people. 25.7% of individuals who receive SNAP benefits are black, and 15.6% are Hispanic. So the largest makeup, here again, as I said to you, is white America. So some of this stuff, or many of these things that Trump is doing, I don't think it's a black or white issue. I think it's a socio-economic issue. I think Trump cares more about the rich and the wealthy, and I don't think that he separates poor white folks from poor blacks, let alone poor Hispanics. We know there's this big issue with ICE and removing people of color, particularly Hispanic folks, out of the U.S. But in defense of Trump, I don't like the way he's doing it with National Guard and ICE. But that previous administration with Biden and Kamala Harris, where they just left the borders completely wide open, and people were not being vetted on who's entering the country. There was something like 15 million people that came undocumented into the country during the Biden and Kamala Harris administration. What are we going to do with those folks? They're also going to be a harbinger on our social services. What are our social services? Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps. So those people are going to need access to those social services also. There is a lot going on. And the last thing that we need in today's time is to have a government shutdown. And we're talking about over 2 months, over 60 days that this has been taking place. We don't have enough air traffic controllers for planes, for travel. What is going to happen to our grocery stores? They depend on SNAP benefits, just like hospitals depend on Medicaid disbursements and payments. So 2 of those building blocks of a sound society, hospitals, grocery stores, are feeling the effect of some of these maneuverings that President Trump and our Congress and Senate are doing in today's time. And well, Trump solved that problem. No social services, no stamps. Problem solved. So there are people that need it. Everybody is not in the same situation. Some people need assistance, and our social services are there for that reason. What do you think? Government shutdown is going into its 3rd month here. People are not being paid. However, Congress and the Senate are still getting their checks. And there seems to be a certain level of inhumanity and hopelessness and helplessness that is taking place, that is putting a great separation between our U.S. government and the people that live in the United States as U.S. citizens. There's going to be a larger gap between rich and poor. When you talk about tuition for college, it's gotten so expensive. Many of these college graduates will never be able to afford a house. So we're going into an artificial intelligence society with technology moving at a rampant pace. We're talking about humanoid robotics in our manufacturing and distribution centers, which are going to replace humans. You're also talking about, with the amount of debt that people are incurring from their education, they will never be homeowners. So you're going to see an uptick in the renters market. If you just look in your city, there are more apartments that are being built. I'm talking 100, 200, 300, 400 unit, $100 million apartment buildings that are being built, while the housing market is in a stalemate or going in the opposite direction as far as new homes being built and new developments in many of our suburbs and in our country. So this entire scenario that I brought up on this live, it is putting a very, very, very tough rock or stone on our middle class and our lower middle class, and the American dream is turning into the American nightmare, uh, one day at a time, right before our eyes. We got to do something, folks. We got to wake up and come together, be together, and make sure that our politicians and our legislators are held accountable to the things that they say and to the things that they alternative, alternatively do. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. I'll see you next time.